Once upon a time, in a peaceful village surrounded by thick forests and rolling meadows, there lived a kind-hearted couple. They had long wished for a child, and after many years, their wish finally came true. The woman became pregnant. Behind their little cottage stood a beautiful garden, full of vegetables and herbs. However, it belonged to a powerful sorceress named Gothel, who had cast spells to keep others away. The couple dared not enter it. Until one day, the pregnant woman spotted a patch of delicious green Rapunzel, a kind of lettuce, growing in the sorceress's garden. She craved it so badly that she felt she would fall ill if she didn't taste it. Seeing his wife in distress, the husband quietly climbed over the garden wall and picked a handful of Rapunzel. His wife made a salad from it and ate it with delight. But the craving only grew stronger. The next evening, the husband returned to the garden, but this time he was caught by the sorceress herself. "You dare steal from my garden," she hissed, her eyes glowing. "I meant no harm," the man pleaded. "My wife is expecting a child, and she was desperate for your Rapunzel." The sorceress narrowed her eyes and said, "I will spare you, but on one condition. You must give me the child once it is born." Terrified, the man agreed, though his heart ached. When the baby girl was born, the sorceress appeared and took her away. She named the baby Rapunzel and raised her as her own. As the child grew, so did her beauty and her kindness. When Rapunzel turned 12, Gothel locked her away in a tall tower deep in the forest. The tower had no stairs or doors, only a single window at the very top. Whenever Gothel wanted to visit, she would stand at the bottom of the tower and call out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair so I may climb without a stair." Rapunzel had long golden hair that shimmered like sunlight. Hearing the call, she would let her hair fall down the window, and Gothel would climb up the tower by holding on to her thick braid. Years passed, and Rapunzel remained in the tower, singing sweet songs and talking to birds. Though lonely, she remained gentle, curious, and full of dreams. One day, a prince was riding through the forest when he heard Rapunzel's voice. He followed the sound and discovered the tower, but couldn't find a way in. He hid behind a tree and soon saw Gothel call for Rapunzel to lower her hair. That night, the prince returned and repeated the sorceress's words. "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." To his surprise, the golden braid came down and he climbed up. At first, Rapunzel was frightened. She had never seen a man before. But the prince was kind and gentle, and he told her about the world beyond the forest. They began to talk every evening, and slowly they fell in love. "Will you marry me?" the prince asked one night. "I will take you away from this tower and show you the world." Rapunzel smiled with hope in her eyes. "Yes," she whispered. Together, they made a plan. The prince would bring a piece of silk each night, and Rapunzel would weave it into a ladder to climb down. But one day, Rapunzel made a mistake. She innocently said to Gothel, "Why is it easier to pull you up than the prince?" The sorceress was furious. In her rage, she cut off Rapunzel's hair and banished her to a faraway desert. Then she waited for the prince to return. When he called for Rapunzel, Gothel let down the braid. As the prince climbed up, he was met not by his beloved, but by the wicked sorceress. She cursed him and pushed him from the tower. The prince survived the fall, but he landed in thorn bushes that blinded him. For many years, he wandered the land, blind and broken-hearted, calling out for Rapunzel. Far away in the desert, Rapunzel lived alone, heartbroken but strong. She gave birth to twin children and waited every day, hoping to see the prince again. Then, one day, she heard a familiar voice calling her name. It was the prince. Rapunzel ran to him and embraced him with tears in her eyes. As her tears fell on his face, something miraculous happened. His sight returned. Together, they returned to the prince's kingdom, where they were married in a grand celebration. The people loved Rapunzel for her kindness and courage, and she finally had the loving family and freedom she had always dreamed of. Moral of the story: even in the darkest times, hope, kindness, and courage can guide us to brighter days. Love and patience can overcome any obstacle.